Thank you so much. That's the nicest thing anyone said about me in public in a very long time. I'm going to quote you at the next council meeting on Tuesday. I'm just going to move back over here. In Slam, we used to spend like infinite minutes rearranging the stage for team pieces and solo pieces, and it's something I'll never let go of. So I'll be reading a suite of poems I collaborated on with the Greek Music Chorus, and from my upcoming book. I mean, the suite are from the music chorus, the other poem is from the book. There is a content warning for mental health and sexuality, which are the two states between which I alternate. 1. Shepherds of the blighted hills. And a wind out of the north came. 9 nights clung to prow and shattered mast. The broken oar, salt-crusted in foam amid wave crests. Then wide dunes and desolate. When night peeled back, we saw him descend the mountain, fumes of hellebore burning in his mouth under a sundering Uranos. We twisted our spines, averting our eyes in pity, in shame, to see the great arms spoiled, hands that subdued the lion and laid waste the boar of Caledon inverted, mind driven out of itself, crisis before crisis, stigma and worse, blooming the bogs of mania, ruptured the cord, wounded our ear, sanguineous cacophony, blood murmured images into our brains, warped threads unhooked in mental sanitation, where even the maelstrom is calmed to pass underneath alabaster gates. You seem nice enough, Polynices, but you bite the head of the lotus and strum all day on your hill. 2. Doom assessment. Headlong into the eyes of malice. On all sides fell the stretch of wing, barbed mouth opening gates of iron, laid us bare before the severance. On all sides spread the span of wing, the image splintered against time, waylaid and bare before the severance, the wired synapse a tattered lace, the image splintered against time, on all 4 winds, the 12 names of Mania, the wired synapse, a tattered lace, crawling the blades of the oars, on all 4 winds, the 12 names of Mania, headlong into the eyes of malice, my tongue had split the air, to left and right the burning sheaves, headlong into the eyes of malice, blunted cinders of veracity, left and right the burning sheaves, nor could anyone but you stand against it. 3. The Ophaneme, the illegitimate metastasis. The turrets failed to down the second eye below the ground, what intel could not trace. Unimpeded, the ops make a mockery of our net. Who grants, who draws the wooden horse, what hook pulls toward the citadel, ruin wrought by data, by breach, sequence fleeing the membrane of the cell. We assume all tactical functions into the cadre of our cell. Over the abyss we scry, presiding from thrones of optics, creature of sentiment analysis. We conjure, we command your data. Names of whose blood on the altar, thrice written therapeutic trace of lith atomic 3, the object, carcass suspended digitally and hooked on nodes to hang snagged midst fibers ill knit within the neural net. Bounds of privacy extend no further than the net gain of security, kind domesticity, a sealed cell. At the end, even the wanderer's hat resists its own hook, widening or shuttered, slumber and sight meet it through one lens, not even a merciful catharsis the supplicant's redemption could trace, let alone that which we've already given. Eyes sweeping the plane for residual data cast a net, to trace me and the other spirits, burning hooks on our neurons. 4. No retreat from the urban environment. I begun to think that my suffering was not mystical, unless there be something mundane among the cosmos. Lay your hand on black stone, look to the thundering west. Though I no longer recall the sea chant, cannot unbind the course of the wind. And we alighted at the base of the hill, the corridor like a bolt through the city, by Lex or by Lux or by luxury carving polity from the shell of Nemesis, where to bury the dragon's teeth. The banks were expelled the tyrant's bones. Where there is no traffic, there is remuneration. Where there is not traffic, the redress of harm. There is air opening out over fog foam and heavy spray out on the foam hiss. Let the initiate gaze upon the state fetish. Let them drink of the ruin of nations. Fountains of pearl where the rock of my house had been, ringed within rings of the thorned brake, underhanging the canopy wreath. I promise I'm actually a much friendlier person. It's just that I read the Symposium and the Odyssey like twice and we'll never hear the end of it, so. I'll be closing with a lyric essay from my upcoming book, C3I. It also appears in the recent winter issue of Fence Journal. If anyone has questions or would like a link, please find me on Twitter at Taplin Terry or Terry Taplin. I'll pop up. I'm with all the emojis. You'll see me. On utopian memecraft. The GIF, a kind of gesture, brooding in extensia over uncreated chaos, crystalline structure of myth and 21st century telos iterates in a leiosis alighted, aperture permitting recognitions. In 1598, 20 years prior to the execution by burning, execution by burning in Rome's Campo di Fiore, Giordano Bruno writes, "A bonding agent does not unite a soul to himself, unless he, has captured it. It is not captured unless it has been bound. He doesn't bind it unless he has joined himself to it. The agency of bonding being a kind of in-cosmic dendritic system coursed through with sympathetic cosmic synapse, a poly-animated vectoring of action potential pinging across spheres. Venus radiates adore me, copper resplends adoration, the rose resplends with the myrtle, nor the hermetic Dominican friar pens for us. Does the agent, as would a commanding tactician, subvert a fortified stronghold save by recording permutations in the garrison. The guardians changed at each the gates of the soul, seeing the standards and torches pass at eyes and ears in fantasy. I am a theurgist. I murmur Aphrodite from Crete, pouring like wine, nectar to make goblets of gold full. I conceive immaterial passion, power of God in anime. Circle and at center a point. From this omnidirectional line radiation, God within mind, within soul, within matter, each particle enmeshed within all others, broke, sliding into your DMs. The one point suffused through the many is what? Beauty or desiring? Motion of desire reverting towards beauty is love? What the Angeloi and the Daimones canvas between shores? Woke, sliding into your mind. Feast of the Baptist. Psyche's etheric accumulation of astral body passing down the gates of the spheres. I receive imprints of mine angeloi, caduceus discharging locative acuity, graces inciting latent bewitchments. Around instilled seed, Psyche procreates a body from seminal imaging. Blood and spirit seminate magnetic field. In you, signals from homeworld. In your river, I am denim and flannel, panning for traces of intricate data. The myth is always tactical. Calculate to minimize risk. I sonnet an algorithm. I test waters. It is the sea. Telecom agitation. I drum up seed in your mind. I take you into my eyes. Cognition smolders memory. Refix you in thought. Brain ejaculates viscera over your screen. Grafted. I drive forth dendritic anomaly, bromance and nostos, the reins hold, I am a theurgist, the oars hold, turning back to ancestral harbors, me and both my horses, wheels unsmudged on the chariot, Cicero to Atticus, tamen ad levor cum loquor te cum absens, multo etiam magis cum tuas literas lego. The litera are Vedic and mercantile, inscribed empire of trade. I contemplate communication, hurling a psychometric discus, though I prefer to survey collapse from a vantage of fortified distance, really just trying to roll safe. Can be told if I never ask, you know. And the sign of the daimon is pleasure, and pleasure the wings of the angelos. I am puzzled by what Ficino writes in his chapter on whence comes loves for males, love for females, from the De Amore. The reproductive drive in the soul, being without cognition, makes no distinction between the sexes seek. It is naturally aroused for copulation whenever we judge any body to be beautiful, and it often happens that those who associate with males, in order to satisfy the demands of the genital part, copulate with them, especially those at whose birth Venus was in a masculine sign, and either in conjunction with Saturn, or in the house of Saturn, or in opposition to Saturn. Writing as a gay pagan cloaking himself in Dominican orders against papal authority, and the backdrop of the Ufficiali della Notte, the offices of the night, Florence's civic body charged with the monitoring, reporting, and prosecution of sodomy. But still, I thought we were supposed to be in this together, sis. Why'd you turn fake on me? My exact astrology, though. What I keep in my little book of talisman cryptograms, keys and the gates to worlds themselves. Thinking with Diamond at the end of my 20s, I stand before Maurice Bertali Stillman's Love's Messenger at the De Young Museum's Truth and Beauty exhibit. A woman sits rose-clad at a window, guarded by vines and a vase of roses. She clutches to Rose a scroll tied by solitary thread to the foot of a dove, joining her gaze as it falls on an embroidered Cupid, hoodwinked and knocking an arrow raised at the sitter. According to the wiki, she has just laid down the embroidery. That she hadn't been the one who sent the dispatch, and that the artifact of threadcraft wasn't the vehicle of communication, that the mastery of her artifice wasn't the catalyst for bonding had never occurred to me. Task of recording communication and intelligence to subvert command and control. Broadcast to establish rapport, open throne realms of clearance, telecasting, almost 10% of my power. I am a Thurgist. I give you dank angels of my planet, world where I am real. Thank you.